Hi everyone, this is Selvi. Today's topic is what is DEEP? DEEP. DEEP is the characteristics of product backlog, whereas DEEP stands for D, detailed appropriately with the information, E, estimation, E, emergent, P, prioritization. So this is basically explaining the characteristics of a product backlog, how a product backlog should look like. First one is detailed appropriately. What it means? Detailed appropriately means a product backlog item, any work item which is in the product backlog should explain what is the problem statement and why are we implementing this functionality and what is the business need or the requirement and what is the benefit if we achieve that, and all the details relevant to that particular functionality or the business requirement should be added in the work item, which means it should have details about use cases, it should have details about all the specific information related to the particular business requirement, all the detailed level of information. It is not only about this is what is the requirement, no, why this requirement is there and what are we trying to implement to solve the problem and what is the benefit it will achieve. All those information should be available so that team gets complete clarity while implementing the functionality. So this is D. E is estimation. What is estimation mean? The work item should contain all the necessary information so that it is not only just for implementation, it will also help us in planning the details about which release or which milestone we can target this functionality with the help of estimation. So whenever we say estimation, we cannot just estimate by having what is the requirement alone. From the requirement, we should understand certain factors like what are the dependencies involved, what are the risks involved, what is the complexity of the requirement, what is the business value it is going to deliver, what is the amount of work that is required to implement the functionality. With all this information only, we can come up with the estimation value. So the detail that is available in the work item should be sufficient enough so that we can identify these factors. So at the end of the identification, we will be in a position to estimate it. With the help of estimation, we will be in a situation to plan which release or what will be the target that we can look this requirement to be successfully deployed, or which milestone we can look for. So all those planning and all the related roadmap or milestone or release related planning, if you want to do, we need to have the estimation details. For that, we should have sufficient details in the work item. The next E, that is emergent. We think that work item, when we when we start writing the work item, that's it. No, it is not a static content, it is a dynamic content. What is static content and what is dynamic content? Static content means once we write that information, that's it. We will not change that, we will not modify it, we will not add or remove basically any information in that. But work item in the product backlog is not like that. It is an evolving information, it is an emerging information. Why? Because we are working in agile world. In agile world, things will be keep changing, priorities will be changing, requirements will be changing, use cases will be changing, and maybe sometimes the requirement itself becomes invalid, so we don't know how things will evolve. So always the work item should be in a situation to evolve with the details. So when we say evolve with the details, it should be in a situation that anytime we will be dynamically able to change according to the current situation, which means we will be adding sometimes the information, we will be removing sometimes the information, sometimes it becomes invalid, sometimes it will be extended with some more information as a complex requirement. We don't know how it is going to evolve, but always product backlogs work item, any work item in the product backlog is an emerging work item, which means it allows always dynamic operation, which means we will be able to add, remove, reprioritize the things, or sometimes we will be able to completely change the things based on the current situation. So it should allow us to do that. The last one is P, stands for prioritization. So we all know priority is very, very important in the product backlog, because always this priority gives complete clarity to the team what is the first thing that they need to work. So we all know, and we have already discussed in our one of our episode, the items that are on the top of the list are of high priority, and they will be picked up by the team for the immediate sprints. And slowly when we go down, we will be able to see the items that are in the middle order may are waiting for the refinement, or at the end we will be able to see nice to have functionality. So this is the order. So bottom of the list always have nice to functionalities or least priority items, and always on the top of the list it is all about high priority items. So product backlog, even though it is a master list of all the work items related to the product, it has something based on priority based ordering. So priority is one thing that plays a major role in ordering the product backlog work items. So P stands for prioritization, and we will be able to see top priority work items on the top and least priority items on the bottom of the list. So that is about the last characteristic feature. So in a nutshell, we have DEEP. We should have good and sufficient information so that team is knowing what is the ask, what is the problem statement that brings this functionality to be implemented, and what is the benefit if we implement. All those details should be available in a very, very detailed way in the product backlog item, so that it will be really helpful. The next one is it should be in a state of estimatable. The reason is why it should be in a state of estimatable. The reason is we can plan our releases, milestones based on this as well. So to estimate a work item, we should have good and sufficient details to understand the factors that are helping us to estimate it. The next one is emergent. We all know product backlog is not a static content, it is an evolving content, it is dynamically operated content. So it should always undergo sometimes addition, sometimes removal. Modification is always allowed in this work item. Last one is the priority, which means the top of the list is always the high priority item, and the bottom of the list is always the least priority or the lowest priority items. And this list is, even though it looks like an ordered list of items, yes, of course it is ordered list of items with the help of the priority. I think this episode would have helped you in understanding about deep. Thanks everyone for listening. Happy learning and stay tuned.